was the second fastest qualifier that's in this heat. He was third overall qualifier. So watch for his speed. He is a very technical rider. Taylor Robert recently just won the last dog standing in the United States, and he is a big hitter when it comes to Enduro X.
And there you see in the center of the screen, that's Blazuzziak with Brown right next to him. Brown, a surprising 5th place qualified, but Brown right off the start.
Shot out of a cannon.
Wow.
Watch as they take to the course. Now, there are some ruts. Watch, they'll have to be technical and careful, and everybody knows that is involved with motorcycle racing. Mike Brown is a former AMA champion. When it comes to ruts and blasting the turns, Mike Brown will have the advantage. Watch this.
Blazuzziak coming up the inside, and we saw guys having a lot of troubles. There's a double apex on the rocks there, but Mike Brown managed to get out in front of everybody.
Taylor Robert getting in the mix there on the number 33 as well. This is a tough section test.
Oh, the matrix. This is horrible. And then, really new water feature. The water actually has a right-hand turn in it, so they have to ride the water. Everything now is going to get soaking wet.
Now you saw how many ruts there were on the little double up to the water step in. These logs as well are going to get tough, and then air it out. Look at the ruts on the backside, and this is the toughest obstacle on the course. They may make it look easy at first, but it is going to get tougher and tougher with the rock climb.
Look at the speed of Taddy Blazuzziak on the orange bike behind Mike Brown. He is chasing him down, and Blazuzziak had a blistering qualifying time, 5 seconds ahead of the rest of the field.
Which is absolutely amazing. We were watching the time session, and you really couldn't see it, but that's usually when someone's the fastest, is when they're looking smooth and polished. He's got the skis out for a second there. Blazuzziak does. Mike Brown controlling the situation. Here comes
and a different line through the rocks there for Mike Brown.
Well, Brown's going a little bit wider, so he can do a one pivot turn. If you watch there, Taddy going to the inside looked like he is willing to do a double pivot. As we look a little further back, the rider from Arizona, that is the Kawasaki of Taylor Robert. Different styles jumping into the water there. You saw Brown kind of controlled speed, didn't want to make a big splash. Blazuzziak came flying in.
So Mike Brown looking pretty comfortable right now in the lead. Taddy, though, is not going to let him get away. But if anything, Mike Brown is definitely the class of the field when it comes to just straight out speed.
Absolutely. 5 riders will advance out of this first heat. Of course, we'll have a second heat and then a last chance qualifier to make up the men's final. The other thing you need to know about Mike Brown, if you don't know a lot about Enduro X or motorcycle racing in general, he's not an easy rider to get past. You saw Blazuzziak come blasting up the inside, and Mike had his leg out. He's not going to move the leg to make it easier or any safer for his leg. He is a tough hombre for sure, and you just don't wrestle your way past Mike Brown.
Well, Blazuzziak having trouble there, but managing to get back on the bike and get out, still holding on to second place.
And we talked about the ruts, and what makes them difficult to ride is as they beat in, if they get 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches deep, the tires, as you can see right there, you're going to start wedging side to side. The side of your knob you start to catch. It starts to redirect you. That is one thing that makes it tough. Plus, it sucks the speed out of the bike in some instances. And in some ways, sometimes you can drag your pegs and really cause yourself a problem.
And what we saw, this rock pile was one example. Here it is. The rocks actually moved because of the soft mud underneath them, and that's what happened there to Mike Brown. He got caught between the rocks. We saw that happen a lot in practice and seeding.
That's the beauty of Enduro X racing right there, is you can have a pass for the lead at 1 mile an hour.
And remember, Taddy Blazuzziak now in the lead. He tore the ligaments in his right wrist in Barcelona.
And it looks like he's torn his goggles off as well. Which
Did he go for the tear-offs and maybe just nothing left?
I didn't see it, but he's definitely not wearing goggles. Here's double pivot for Blazuzziak. Oh, Taylor Robert with the great save.
He goes down.
But ends up dumping it.
So now, Taddy Blazuzziak has no goggles on. He needs to stay out front so that he doesn't suffer the roost of anyone in front of him, kicking up the dirt from their back tire.
And you can see possibly why his goggles were done up, as how aggressive he's jumping in the water. You see the different style by Brown. Now we talked about it. 5 riders are going to qualify, so technically Brown doesn't have to beat Blazuzziak or vice versa, but there's not only bragging rights, but gate pick as well. So the fastest rider in the fastest heat of the 2 gets the pick first on the gate. Blazuzziak has problems.
Down in the same spot now. Mike Brown trying to go past on the outside. Brown regains the lead.
These are the best riders in the world, the best technical riders. Tadej Blazusiak has won the Erzberg Enduro 5 times. If you don't know what that is, that's the hardest of the hard enduros that are out there. It's an obstacle course race in Austria through a mining facility. It is incredible. It's hours long,
insane.
Right, and this is the idea behind Enduro X is a mini version or a shortened version of those hard enduros that you have in the outdoors. Next week in Romania is Romaniacs, another hard enduro. So we have a lot of talented riders that have won a number of those events.
So this is the final lap. Mike Brown still in front of Tadej Blazusiak, but Blazusiak coming back on the charge.
And Brown, careful into the water. Here comes Blazusiak. This is where the last lap heroics come in. Now look how slippery these logs are. They have to set up, get a little bit of a run through the rut, and then get some drive up the face. And this is where it's been going wrong. It went wrong for Brown once, went wrong for Blazusiak once. We'll see if it's a difference maker here on the last lap in the rocks.
Here we go.
And it is.
Oh, a problem. And Blazusiak goes past Brown, coming up towards the finish of this first heat race. Wow. No one ever gets to just run away in these races. Amazing. Brown's still charging, though, but it's going to be Tadej Blazusiak winning heat number 1 in men's Enduro X. Mike Brown takes second, and Grafunda is going to take third. Wow. The last lap, last minute.
That is what, I mean, we were talking about it. Anything can happen at any time in Enduro X. It's the way it is. And that's your winner, Blazusiak.
And interestingly, Alfredo Gomez managed to get past Gersten and take that 5th transfer spot. The rest of those guys are going to go into, they're going to move and go into the last chance qualifier.
So trying to sort out all 5 qualifiers. And it looks like it's going to be Blazusiak, Brown, Gomez, Robert, and Max Gersten from Arizona, the youngster.
Well, a wild race to start with Gersten. They will go straight to the final. The rest of the guys, they are going to go, well, into the last chance qualifier.
Johnny Walker and Graham Jarvis both have won the Erzberg Enduro. Of course, Colton Haker has to be one of the favorites. He was one of the top qualifiers here today inside the top 5. And they'll line up next to each other. Haker almost winning the Barcelona X Games Enduro X.
Could have made that last minute pass.
It was so close.
Make it. Haker looked good out there today, but Johnny Walker, we said he didn't look comfortable in Barcelona, Cameron. But here today, he looks like he really has got his wheels underneath him.
Well, he's from the UK, and hard enduro is his game. And wet course, slippery course, rut course, that's a good course for Johnny Walker.
Let's see who makes it to the hole shot out of this one.
Haker on the number 10. And Redmond right there, the number 7.
Good run for Redmond on the outside there.
And a rider we haven't seen in some time, Justin Soule.
Oh, Soule almost coming off.
His own kind of break dancing going on there, and another problem for Soule on the number 6. Now here's Colton Haker, the number 10.
Look at Redmond on the outside, and Redmond's going to take
that
the
is
lead.
Aggressive.
Fantastic riding. He found the perfect line.
I spent some time in Baja with Kyle Redmond, riding some of the trails and watching him and his stunt work, I like to call it. We have a big pass there.
Oh, there's Walker
going on
past Haker. No, and Haker's fighting back.
Oh, Haker will not give up easily. That is absolutely for sure. And the Haker of old was a guy who was, I'm going now. I'm going forward in the first lap. And he would risk so much, and he would give up a lot at times. This year, 1 year ago, he was only in the top 5 once when he won. This year, he's been in the top 5 every time.
Here we go into that rock section that proved so much trouble for Blazusiak and Brown. And Redmond is climbing up, makes it up and over the top. And there goes Walker on the outside. So Walker regains second place. He'll chase down Kyle Redmond.
And we'll get more looks at that rock pile. And it's so tough because of the uneven rocks. They're higher, they're lower, they got big edges. And it looks like Graham Jarvis in the mix here, putting a move on Colton Haker. And Graham Jarvis, I mean, when you talk about hard enduro, that's someone you gotta check out. If you get a chance to check out his YouTube Spanish training video,
I
it's
love
amazing.
this line that Kyle Redmond is taking through the rocks. It's almost perfect. Walker gets stuck. Haker goes through.
Look at Redmond doubling right into that rut section. And Walker having his own issues.
And that looked like Jarvis in third, and Jeff Aaron taking 4th place, so Johnny Walker dropping back.
This would be really a breakout for Kyle Redmond. I mean, he's had 1 podium in the Endurocross series in the United States, in the AMA series, and he is just a super talented rider.
And look at the amount of distance he's actually put on 2nd place right now, coming in to the rock section. Remember, every lap this proved trouble for someone. He takes the middle route, makes it again.
Here comes Haker.
Nice, Haker up and over too. So we're looking for Graham Jarvis in 3rd place to be chasing down Colton Haker.
And that number 7, Kyle Redmond, 25 years of age, from Lake Hughes, California. Of course, Colton Haker giving chase aboard the number 10. He is from Hollister, California, from Northern California. And he's 23 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
So there you see again the line we talked about. But look at Haker. Haker is just charging.
He is an attack rider. I mean, plain and simple. He will attack and go for it. And that has been his shortcoming in the past. Because he'll come apart when he's going for it on a big try. Now here's Redmond taking it easy. And Haker following on the less of a splash route. You almost could argue that Haker could have jumped into the inside line there and tried to force the issue, but he didn't.
There goes Graham Jarvis. And he's still being chased down by Johnny Walker. But here we go, back into the rock pile. We say it every time because it proved so important in seeding, practice. And Haker is trying to go up the middle. And Redmond gets stuck. We've seen so many guys get stuck in that one spot.
Well, I think the part that I don't like about the way Redmond's attacking is he's being methodical, but he's coming in a little bit slower than the momentum he needs to carry up the hill. And that's what Haker did right there. He came in just a little quicker with enough momentum. Now, the risk to that is if you come in hot and you side edge it and slide out, you're going to end up down in the rocks.
And now half the field is past him. Haker coming back through the rock pile. Comfortable lead over Graham Jarvis. And it's just that one moment in Enduro X competition that makes all the difference, and that's what you saw again with Redmond. Haker, though, looking good. On lap 5 or 6, he'll be coming through to the white flag on this time around.
Well, Haker has the pure ability, and I said 1 year ago he would. You see that impact? Wow. A year ago he just didn't have the temperament for it, but he has good people coaching him. Scotty Mack, who's been around Supercross and motocross, he's a big part of what Colton Haker's doing. He's been trying to give him information. Johnny Campbell now, part of the factory Honda team. Look at Haker coming in a little slower.
Look at the traffic.
Right.
He's getting in the same place, but he makes it. He makes it where Redmond had a problem.
Down goes Haker over the bars.
Now Jarvis needs to attack. Jarvis is a very skilled rider in all kinds of obstacles.
Now, that is all fair right there. Haker can go off the course as long as he doesn't gain advantage, and he wasn't. Right.
In that one, it's tough to say because he came through clear. Jarvis was coming off the rocks. We'll have to see if the officials make a judgment there, but this is at the last lap. Graham Jarvis in striking distance. Remember, 5 men will transfer straight through to the final, and then the others have to go into a last chance qualifier.
And look at this. Haker has a problem, and he stalls the bike. Graham Jarvis on the 88 and Justin Soule both going by. And Jarvis, he's won it in Erzberg, he's won at Hell's Gate, he's won at the King of the Motos in California.
Well, interesting enough, we're talking to Jarvis about why he's so well known. It's because of his YouTube videos. You check it out, Graham Jarvis, Spanish training.
Yeah, I was talking about that.
These ridiculously fun videos, and we were talking to him about them just a little while ago. But Graham Jarvis currently leading, and Soule.
Yeah, Soule bringing the heat.
And we still have to go over the rock pile. One more time, Soule puts it sideways.
And Graham, very technical rider. You don't see him get real crazy aggressive, and he didn't when he was riding behind Haker. Even though Haker was right there, Jarvis never got wild.
So they tried to attack there.
I think that's a good example of getting wild or attacking.
And we saw him go down. At the start, he went down twice within the first few seconds, and they're just attacking a little too hard. So Graham Jarvis is going to bring it around. He will win heat number 2 of men's Enduro X, and he did not qualify in Barcelona.
Yeah, he didn't even make the main in Barcelona, so that's a big story. And Justin Soule wasn't in Barcelona, so 2 riders that we didn't see in the main or the final
And from
Barcelona.
this, it looks like the hard Enduro guys have figured something out, and they're coming hard in this Enduro X competition.
And Haker going by. And here comes
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker. So you can see, I call it the ballet of chaos, because you're walking the tightrope on your dirt bike all race long, and then the chaos just comes up and grabs you.
Redmond take number 5.
And
He
he does.
makes it. Wow. Could have been heartbreak for him, but he manages to transfer through to the final, and very well deserved. He led so much of that race until he had that real problem in the rocks. Wow, that was a blistering second heat.
I would have never picked Graham Jarvis to win the heat. I'm just saying straight up. I went into it a little bit.
And there's your 5 guys who move on. Jarvis, Soule, Haker, Walker, and Redmond. We've got more Enduro X coming your way when we come back after the break. This is going to be a ripper.